What is a realistic budget cost of living in Lisbon? For a single person, if you get the right, because I feel like majority of your cost is going to be your apartment. So if you can find an apartment that's reasonable, I would say everything after that, maybe 400 or 500 euros. What do y'all
I
say?
mean, it really depends on what you're doing, where you live, what level of comfort looks like for you, how much you shop. Like we get asked that a
Yeah.
lot, and it's a really hard question to answer because, I think all of us are in a fortunate position that like if we want to do something, we can afford to do it. So, my costs some months are more because I'm eating out more or because I'm taking trips to Porto or things like that. And so I can't really say what's a reasonable cost. I would say that food here is more affordable than in the US and the UK, and transportation is more affordable. So if those are your biggest costs, wherever you live, know that they will probably be lower
And
here.
healthcare.
But
Healthcare is going to be
yeah,
cheaper
and,
too.
and healthcare, yeah, and
Yeah.
healthcare as well. But like, an apartments range in price based off of when you sign your lease, if you're signing your lease in the summer, if you're signing the lease in the
Mm-hmm.
winter, what amenities you have. Like, I'm a little bougie, so I like AC, heat, gas stove, double glazed windows, washer and dryer, and I'm paying for that in the price. And I've got an incredible view, so I'm paying for that too. So it really is subjective. What I would say is maybe go on websites, look at the type of house or housing that you would be interested in, like how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, the area, and like Sin said, that's going to be your biggest chunk of your
Mm-hmm.
budget. So
Mm-hmm.
base things off of that and go from there. But it's really subjective.
I would say just living in Europe, period. Portugal, I think there's this misconception that Portugal is so cheap. That's literally how, when I Googled it, that's how I found Portugal. It was saying it's one of the more affordable European cities. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Granted, my expenses are less in Portugal, but it's still kind of comparable. I mean, considering, you know what I'm saying? It definitely was more expensive than I had anticipated. When you first move here, you got to anticipate that you will be paying a foreign tax, probably in any country you live in, and not necessarily that it's a formal thing, but basically you're going to pay more because you don't know what you're doing. You're going to pay more for transportation. You're going to pay more for groceries because you don't know not to go to the grocery store. This expensive one, you went to the most expensive one. And, so you got to find out, when I first came here, I didn't know about the unlimited transportation card. So I was doing Ubers and I hadn't learned the metro system yet. So when you first get to a country, you're going to have a lot of capital outlay, particularly if you are attempting to be there as a resident, because that's all you got to hurry and get the apartment. You got to get all these things for your visa so that you can be legal in that country. So you're going to come out the pocket a lot. And what I found is that there have been a lot of people, not a lot, but there's been some people that have come here and didn't necessarily understand the cost associated with that. So if you please have a nest egg before you come. If you have a job that is paying you a certain amount of money, but you don't have a lump sum for emergencies or anything like that, you're gonna be in a hard way. Like, some people can't even afford to get a plane ticket back to the US if this doesn't work out for them. I don't want anyone to be in that situation. So you're gonna need a lump sum. I can't tell you what that lump sum is for you. Please understand that. I don't know how you live. I don't know what you need, anything like that. But understand, when you get an apartment, just like if you get an apartment in the States, you have to pay first month's, last month's rent, security deposit. Some of these people are asking for 3 and 4 months. They wilding. Okay. So that is going to be even more ridiculous during the summer months because there's higher competition. So just really have a nest egg that makes you feel comfortable, at least at the bare minimum. If you need to catch a flight back home, you'll have that. Okay, but no one can give you a number. Just get a gauge on, like, okay, how many bedrooms do I want? What are the amenities I want? What does that type of apartment cost in whatever neighborhood? Then from that, for me, being single and I barely leave the house, my life doesn't cost no more typically than 500 euros after my rent. So, but that doesn't mean that, like, if an emergency happens, like, you still gotta, like, prepare. Once again, the currency changes daily. Okay. So if you are in a good situation now and now it goes on, and the economy about to go to crap. So, it can completely change. And now you're in a bad way because your money is worth 20, 30% less once you do the conversion. There's a conversion rate and then there's a cost to get it to the country. This is in any country. Okay. So definitely put that into perspective. I hope that helps.